The Selected Letters of D. H. Lawrence, and a continuation of the reading. There are 100 letters in this book, and we're now going to read from letter 41. And it's a beautiful sunny afternoon here, as indeed we can see. Letter 41 to J. M. Murray and Catherine Mansfield. Porthcothan, St. Merrin, North Cornwall, 24th of February 1916. My dear Jack and Catherine, now don't get in a state, you two, about nothing. The publishing scheme has not yet become at all real or important. Heseltine was mad to begin it. He wanted to get The Rainbow published. I felt, you don't know how much, sick and done. It was rather fine that he believed and was so generously enthusiastic. He is the musical one. The musicians he likes are Delius, Goossens, Arnold Bax, and some few others. I believe as a matter of fact they are good, and we are, perhaps outside ourselves, more likely to have good music and bad books than otherwise. This is what is done so far. A circular or letter, something like that signature one, only bigger and better, is drawn up, and 1,000 copies are being printed. It is to be sent to everybody we can think of. Heseltine pays for all this. It states that either there is sufficient number of people to buy books out of reverence for the books themselves, or else real books will disappear from us. Therefore it is proposed to publish by subscription such works as are not likely to have any effect, coming through a publisher, or which are not likely to be published at all in the ordinary way. It is proposed to issue first The Rainbow at 7 shillings and sixpence post-free. Will those who wish to partake in the scheme fill up the enclosed form? Then follows a form for subscription, just to be filled in and re-addressed to Heseltine at his mother's house in Wales. I want to announce your book after The Rainbow. He has gone to London. I haven't yet seen a printed leaflet. When I get one, I will send it to you. That is all. You see, it is Heseltine's affair so far. I feel that he is one of those people who are transmitters and not creators of art. And I don't think we are transmitters. I have come to the conclusion that I have no business genius. He is 21 years old, and, I must say, I am very glad to have him for a friend. He lived here for 7 weeks with us, so we know. Now don't think his friendship hurts ours. It doesn't touch it. You will like him too, because he is real and has some queer kind of abstract passion which leaps into the future. He will be one with us. We must treasure and value very much anyone who will really be added on to us. I am afraid he may be conscripted. And now, you two, for God's sake, don't get in a state. I myself am always on the brink of another collapse. I begin to tremble and to feel sick at the slightest upset. Your letter, for instance. Do be mild with me for a bit. Don't get silly notions. I've waited for you for 2 years now, and I am far more constant to you than ever you are to me or will be. Which you know. So don't use foolish language. I believe in you, and there's an end to it. But I think you keep far less faith with me than I with you at the centre of things. But faith, like everything else, is a fluctuating thing. But that doesn't disprove its constancy. I know you will slip toward us again, however you may slip away and become nothing, or even go over to the enemy. It doesn't make any difference. You will, in the main, be constant to the same truth and that same spirit with me. The personal adherence, the me and thee business, is subsidiary to that. We are co-believers first, and in our oneness of belief lies our oneness. There is no bond anywhere. I am not bound to agree with you, nor you with me. We are not bound even to like each other, that is as it comes. But we gravitate to one belief, and that is our destiny, which is beyond choice. And in this destiny we are together. This is my declaration. Now let it be enough. As for this publishing business, the whole of the work remains yet to be done. We will fight together when you come. Meanwhile, let Heseltine take the vanguard. We went out looking for a house, and I think we have found one that is good. It is about 7 miles from St Ives, towards Land's End, very lonely, all in rocks on the sea. Zennor, the nearest village, high pale hills, all moor-like, and beautiful behind every wild. 7 miles across country to Penzance. 25 shillings a week, 8 rooms. A woman there who will clean for us. We are going next Tuesday from here. Address for the time being, the Tinner's Arms, Zennor, St Ives, Cornwall. Or just Zennor. It is only 7 houses to the church tower. Really beautiful. We take the house for 4 months, I think, March to June inclusive, with the option of staying on, I hope. You will come at the end of April, when it will be warm. Just at present it is very cold. That icy wind you mentioned did not touch us at Fiescherino, but if we climbed up the hills it was there, terrible. It has been blowing here also, and a bit of snow. Till now the weather has been so mild. Primroses and violets are out, and the gorse is lovely. At Zennor one sees infinite Atlantic, all peacock-mingled colours, and the gorse is sunshine itself already. But this cold wind is deadly. I have been in a sort of all-gone but my cap state this winter, and I'm very shaky. Also steering in my own direction with nobody to lend a hand or to come along. I feel very estranged. But when we set out to walk to Newquay, and when I looked down at Zennor, I knew it was the promised land, that a new heaven and a new earth would take place. But everything is very tender in the bud yet. But you will come along in your own time soon, I hope. You've escaped the worst of this winter. It has been the worst. One has touched the bottom. Somehow I have a sense of a new spring coming very joyful from the unknown. My love to you both. D. H. Lawrence. We shall be very badly off soon, and no incomings anywhere. I don't know what we shall do, but I don't bother. It will turn out somehow. Do let the winter be gone before Catherine comes to England. Letter 42 to J. M. Murray and Catherine Mansfield. Tinner's Arms, Zennor, St Ives, Cornwall, 8 March 1916. Dear Jack and Catherine, we have taken our little cottage for £5 a year and are getting ready to furnish. Of course we shall want very little, having the things left from Byron Villas. Really, you must have the other place. I keep looking at it. I call it already Catherine's house, Catherine's tower. There is something very attractive about it. It is very old, native to the earth, like rock, yet dry, and all in the light of the hills and the sea. It is only 12 strides from our house to yours. We can talk from the windows. And besides us, only the gorse and the fields, the lambs skipping and hopping like anything, and seagulls fighting with the ravens, and sometimes a fox, and a ship on the sea. You must come, and we will live there a long, long time, very cheaply. You see, we must live somewhere, and it is so free and beautiful, and will cost us so very little. And don't talk any more of treacheries and so on. Henceforward let us take each other on trust. I'm sure we can. We are so few, and the world is so many, it is absurd that we are scattered. Let us be really happy and industrious together. I don't know yet what will happen to Heseltine, whether he will be exempted, but I hope you really like him, and we can all be friends together. He is the only one we can all be friends with. If you don't want him to have a room in your house, of course he would share expenses. He could have one elsewhere. Of course he may be kept away indefinitely. But at any rate, you two come, and we shall be 4 together. It is cheaper to furnish a little and pay £16 a year rent than to pay £75 a year for a furnished place. And I'm sure we can live happily at Tregethen, Zennor, St Ives. It is still cold. Snow falls sometimes, then vanishes at once. When the sun shines, some gorse bushes smell hot and sweet. Flocks of birds are flying by to go to the Scilly Isles, so nest. And the blackbirds sing in the chill evenings. We got big bunches of wallflowers in Penzance for a penny. We saw a man plucking them in a field, and they smell very good, but the wind still blows storms with snow out of the sea. I heard from X, still in the pity me sort of voice. He lies in the mud and murmurs about his dream soul and says that action is irrelevant. Meanwhile, he earns diligently in munitions. Do you think the war will end this year? Much love from us both. D. H. Lawrence. I suppose you have got my Monday's letter telling you all about the house. Your place has 7 rooms, kitchen, dining room, study, and upstairs, tower room, and 3 bedrooms. It was 3 old cottages. Your letter of the 4th has just come, Thursday. Good. All is well between us all. No more quarrels and quibbles. Let it be agreed for ever. I am Blutbruder, a Blutbruderschaft between us all. Tell Kay not to be so queasy. Won't Farbman stick to your house? Much love from us both to you two. D.H.L. Letter 43 to Lady Cynthia Asquith. Higher Dregethen, Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall. Wednesday, April 26, 1916. My dear Lady Cynthia, it seems as if we were all going to be dragged into the Danse Macabre. One can only grin and be fatalistic. My dear nation is bitten by the tarantula, and the venom has gone home at last. Now it is dance, mes amis, to the sound of the knuckle bones. It is very sad, but one isn't sad any more. It is done now, and no use crying over spilt milk. Addio to everything. The poor dear old ship of Christian democracy is scuttled at last. The breach is made. The veil of the temple is torn. Our epoch is over. Soit, I don't care. It's not my doing, and I can't help it. It isn't a question of dancing while Rome burns, as you said to me on the omnibus that Sunday evening. Do you remember? It is a question of bobbing about gaily in chaos. Carpe diem is the motto now. Pure gay fatalism. It makes me laugh. My good old moral soul is crevé. Will you tell me, if you can, what it would be wisest for me to do at this juncture? Ought one to attest, and if so, what sort of job can I do? I don't want to do anything, but what will be, and I haven't any conscience in the matter. If I have to serve, all right, only I should like a job that was at least sufferable. Do think a little and advise me. Or ask Herbert Asquith to tell me what I could do. I think it is all rather ridiculous. Even when it is a question of life and death, such a scurry and a scuffle and a meaningless confusion that it is only a farce. It is very lovely down here. The slopes of desert dead grass and heather shearing down to a sea that is so big and blue. I don't want a bit to have to go away, but it will keep. And the cottage is very nice, so small and neat and lovely. There is one next door, the same as this, that you must have when the pot bubbles too hard out there in the world. Will you be coming this way when you are making your round of visits? I am still waiting for my book of Italian sketches to appear. Now there is a strike among the printers in Edinburgh, but it won't be long. It is quite a nice book. I will send you a copy. I am doing another novel, and that really occupies me. The world crackles and bursts, but that is another matter external in chaos. One has a certain order inviolable in one's soul. There one sits, as in a crow's nest, out of it all. And even if one is conscripted, still I can sit in my crow's nest of a soul and grin. Life mustn't be taken seriously any more, at least the outer social life. The social being I am has become a spectator at a knockabout dangerous farce. The individual, particular me, remains self-contained and grins, but I should be mortally indignant if I lost my life, or even too much of my liberty, by being dragged into the knockabout farce of this social life. I hope we shall see you soon. We might have some good times together, really good times, not a bit macabre, but jolly and full. The macabre touch bores me excessively. Frida is boiling the washing in a saucepan. I am, for the moment, making a portrait of Tamer Ilang Tamerlane the Tartar, copying it from a 15th century Indian picture. I like it very much. Mille salute de cuore, D. H. Lawrence. Letter 44. To Catherine Carswell, Higher Tregethen, Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall, 9th July 1916. My dear Catherine, I never wrote to tell you that they gave me a complete exemption from all military service, thanks be to God. That was a week ago last Thursday. I had to join the colours in Penzance, be conveyed to Bodmin, 60 miles, spend a night in barracks with all the other men, and then be examined. It was experience enough of me, of soldiering. I am sure I should die in a week if they kept me. It is the annulling of all one stands for, this militarism, the nipping of the very germ of one's being. I was very much upset. The sense of spiritual disaster everywhere was quite terrifying. One was not sure whether one survived or not. Things are very bad. Yet I liked the men. They all seemed so decent, and yet they all seemed as if they had chosen wrong. It was the underlying sense of disaster that overwhelmed me. They are all so brave to suffer, but none of them brave enough to reject suffering. They are all so noble to accept sorrow and hurt, but they can none of them demand happiness. Their manliness all lies in accepting calmly this death, this loss of their integrity. They must stand by their fellow man. That is the motto. This is what Christ's weeping over Jerusalem has brought us to, a whole Jerusalem offering itself to the cross. To me, this is infinitely more terrifying than Pharisees and publicans and sinners taking their way to death. This is what the love of our neighbour has brought us to, that because one man dies, we all die. This is the most terrible madness, and the worst of it all is that it is a madness of righteousness. These Cornish are most unwarlike, soft, peaceable, ancient. No men could suffer more than they at being conscripted, at any rate those that were with me. Yet they accepted it all. They accepted it, as one of them said to me, with wonderful purity of spirit. I could howl my eyes out over him, because they believed first of all in their duty to their fellow man. There is no falsity about it. They believe in their duty to their fellow man. And what duty is this, which makes us forfeit everything because Germany invaded Belgium? Is there nothing beyond my fellow man? If not, then there is nothing beyond myself, beyond my own throat, which may be cut, and my own purse, which may be slit, because I am the fellow man of all the world. My neighbour is but myself in a mirror. So we toil in a circle of pure egoism. This is what love thy neighbour comes down to. It needs only a little convulsion to break the mirror, to turn over the coin, and there I have myself, my own purse. I, we, like the newspapers today. Capture the trade, unite the empire. Abasse les autres. There needs something else besides the love of the neighbour. If all my neighbours chose to go down the slope of hell, that is no reason why I should go with them. I know in my own soul a truth, a right, and no amount of neighbours can weight it out of the balance. I know that, for me, the war is wrong. I know that if the Germans wanted my little house, I would rather give it to them than fight for it, because my little house is not important enough for me. If another man must fight for his house, the more's the pity, but that is his affair. To fight for possessions, goods, is what my soul will not do. Therefore it will not fight for the neighbours who fights for his own goods. All this war, this talk of nationality, to me is false. I feel no nationality, not fundamentally. I feel no passion for my own land, nor my own house, nor my own furniture, nor my own money. Therefore I won't pretend any. Neither will I take part in the scrimmage to help my neighbour. It is his affair to go in or out, or to stay out as he wishes. If they had compelled me to go in, I should have died, I am sure. One is too raw, one fights too hard already for the real integrity of one's being. That last straw of compulsion would have been too much, I think. Christianity is based on the love of self, the love of property, 1 degree removed. Why should I care for my neighbour's property or my neighbour's life if I do not care for my own? If the truth of my spirit is all that matters to me in the last issue, then on behalf of my neighbour, all I care for is the truth of his spirit. And if his truth is his love of property, I refuse to stand by him, whether he be a poor man robbed of his cottage, his wife and children, or a rich man robbed of his merchandise. I have nothing to do with him in that wise, and I don't care whether he keep or lose his throat on behalf of his property. Property and power, which is the same, is not the criterion. The criterion is the truth of my own intrinsic desire, clear of ulterior contamination. I hope you aren't bored. Something makes me state my position when I write to you. It is summer, but not very summery. Such heavy rain. I told you the Murrays had gone away to South Cornwall. Now she doesn't like that. I believe she is in London at present. She is very dissatisfied with him. We are keeping on their house for the rest of their year. It is so near that if strangers came it would be intolerable. So I am buying a very little furniture. It is so cheap and so nice here, second-hand, to furnish a sitting room and a bedroom for the visitors. I think Dolly Radford is coming in about a week's time, and then Barbara Lowe. We get such pleasure looking at old tables and old chairs. A big round rosewood table, very large, 4 feet 4 inches in diameter, and solid, 10 shillings. 3 very nice birchwood chairs, 7 and 6. An armchair, 5 shillings. The sitting room is furnished. It is an upper room with big windows and shelves. It is such a pleasure buying this furniture. I remember my sermon. But one doesn't really care. This cottage that I like so much, and the new table and the chairs, I could leave them all tomorrow blithely. Meanwhile, they are very nice. I have finished my novel and am going to try to type it. It will be a labour, but we have got no money. But I am asking Pinker for some. And if it bores me to type the novel, I shan't do it. There is a last chapter to write sometime, when one's heart is not so contracted. I think you are not very wise to go to the Hebrides with Carswell's people. You would be so much happier with him alone, or with friends. Greifenhagen seems to be slipping back and back. I suppose it has to be. Let the dead bury their dead. Let the past smoulder out. One shouldn't look back, like Lot's wife. Though why salt, that I could never understand. Have you got a copy of Twilight in Italy? If not, I have got one to give to you. So just send me word, a PC. Frida sends many greetings. Yours, D. H. Lawrence. I am amused to hear of Carswell's divorce case. Letter 45. To J. M. Murray. Higher Tregethen, Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall, 28 August 1916. Dear Jack, thank you very much for your book on Dostoevsky, which has just come. I have only just looked in it here and there, and read the epilogue. I wonder how much you or anybody else is ready to face out the old life and so transcend it. An epoch of the human mind may have come to the end in Dostoevsky, but humanity is capable of going on a very long way further yet, in a state of mindlessness, cursed. And you have got the cart before the horse. It isn't the being that must follow the mind, but the mind must follow the being. And if only the cursed, cowardly world had the courage to follow its own being, with its own mind, if it only had the courage to know what its unknown is, its own desires and its own activities, it might get beyond to the new secret. But the trick is, when you draw somewhere near the brink of the revelation, to dig your head in the sand like the disgusting ostrich and see the revelation there. Meanwhile, with their head in the sand of pleasing visions and secrets and revelations, they kick and squirm with their behinds most disgustingly. I don't blame humanity for having no mind. I blame it for putting its mind in a box and using it as a nice little self-gratifying instrument. You've got to know and know everything before you transcend into the unknown. But Dostoevsky, like the rest, can nicely stick his head between the feet of Christ and waggle his behind in the air. And though the behind wagglings are a revelation, I don't think much even of the feet of Christ as a bluff for the cowards to hide their eyes against. You want to be left alone. So do I, by everybody, by the whole world, which is despicable and contemptible to me and sickening. D. H. Lawrence. Letter 46 to Mrs. T. D. D. Higher Tregarthen, Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall. My dear Mrs. D., I was glad to have your card from Leghorn telling us you were joyfully in Italy again. With D. I wonder where you are now, back again in Milan, and enjoying everything, I hope. What about the children? Though for my part I think husbands and wives more important than children, so long as the latter are well looked after. Here we are, still sitting lonelily over the sea like a couple of motionless cormorants. I have just finished a novel which everybody will hate completely. But if I can only get a little money for it, I shall come to Italy. My health is miserable, damnable. I seem half my time and more to be laid up in bed. I think the terrible moisture of England does it. It has rained every day now for 9 weeks. I think in Italy I should be better. So I shall try to come. What do you think? I should not go back to Fiescherino. I couldn't bear it. It is always lacerating to go back to the past, and then to find our beloved old Felice more old and unhappy for the death of poor Elide. No, I couldn't stand it. I should be a fountain of tears. I should like to go to Rome. I don't know why, but one seems drawn to the great historic past. Now the present has become so lamentably historic. So I want to go to Rome and see if I should be better and happier there. Then we should spend a day or two in Milan en passant to see you and D again, which would be a great pleasure. I don't know that there is any news that I can tell you. X is expecting an infant. Everybody says poor infant, but X is happy and important at last. I think she feels no woman ever has had a child before, and she is the inventiveness of the human race, which no doubt is quite the right spirit. Of ourselves there is no news. Barring poverty and a few jolts, we are very happy together. Frida is allowed interviews with her children occasionally, which makes things easier. I, you will not forget, have a beard. Purplish red, people say. I must keep you reminded so you should not be so shocked when we arrive in Milan. How do you find Italy? Still pretty nonchalant and happy in itself, I hope. I should hate to come to a tragic country. D very nobly offered to lend me money, which for some reason scared me. I should feel a monster taking money from a man with a wife and 3 children, and only his salary to keep them on. No, when I am forced to beg for a penny to throw between the teeth of the wolf at the door, I shall ask rich people for it. They will give it to me. I don't let myself be worried. I shall address this letter to D, so that if you come back to England, he will read it and write to me. Do you like Milan? I didn't, but I've got a longing to go to Rome. All good greetings from Frida and me to both. Yours, D. H. Lawrence. Letter 47 to Lady Cynthia Asquith, Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall, Monday, 11th December 1916. Here's a pretty state of affairs. Messrs. Lloyd George and Lord Derby, funny, pretty. This is the last stage of all that ends our sad, eventful history. So be it. Over Cornwall last Wednesday and Thursday went a terrible wave of depression. In Penzance Market, farmers went about with wonder-struck faces, saying, "We're beaten. I'm afraid we're beaten. These Germans are a wonderful nation, I'm afraid. They are more than a match for us." That is Cornwall at the present time. I must say, I too expect a national disaster before very long, but I don't care very much. They want it, the people in this country. They want, in their vile, underneath way of working, to scuttle the old ship and pitch everybody into water. Well, let them. Perhaps when we've all had a ducking in the sea of fearful disaster, we shall be more wholesome and truthful. At any rate, then I feel we shall be able to do something new. It is no use adhering to that old advanced crowd. Cambridge, Lowes Dickinson, Bertie Russell, young reformers, socialists, Fabians. They are our disease, not our hope. We want a clean sweep and a new start, and we will have it. Wait only a little longer. Fusty, fuzzy peace cranks and lovers of humanity are the devil. We must get on a new track altogether. Damn humanity. Let me have a bit of inhuman or non-human truth that our fuzzy human emotions can't alter. I send you manuscript of a tiny book of poems to see if you like them. If you do, and if they find a publisher, I think they might be a real success. I would like to inscribe them to you, to Cynthia Asquith. Damn initials, but that is just as you like. We keep putting off our coming to London, but it is bound to be within a month's time now, probably in early January. Then we must see where we are, how we stand, all of us, what we feel and what we are ready for. D. H. Lawrence. The story, The Thimble, is being published in an American magazine called The Seven Arts. Letter 48. To Catherine Carswell, Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall. Monday, 5th January 1917. My dear Catherine, I never answered your last letter. We seem all to be pretty downed, flawed. I find myself awfully like a fox that is cornered by a pack of hounds and boars who don't perhaps know he's there, but are closing in unconsciously. It seems to me to be a crucial situation now. Whether we are nabbed by the old vile world and destroyed, or whether we manage, with the help of the unseen, to make good our escape. I am applying for re-endorsement of my passports to New York, if I can but get it done. And if no other horror, like American exclusion, intervenes, we shall be off at once, this month, I hope. I feel it is really a question of to be or not to be. If we are to be, then we must move at once out of this into another world. Otherwise, it is not to be. My dear Catherine, for me the hour is crucial, but everything has its season. Perhaps your times are a little different. Perhaps, this in answer to your last letter, it is necessary for you and Don to have another bout, another round, to try another fall with this old world. Every man has his own times and his own destiny, apart and single. It only remains for us to fulfill that which is really in us. For me, it is time to go. Time for us to go, time for us to go, as the song is. I don't know why I go to America, except that I feel all right in going there. One instinctively takes one's way, and it is all right. I feel we shall get off. I am not beaten yet, but don't say anything about our going, will you? Everybody refuses to publish the novel. It will not get done over here. I don't care. As a sort of last work, I have gathered and shaped my last poems into a book. It is a sort of final conclusion of the old life in me, and now farewell is really the motto. I don't want really much to submit the manuscript for publication. It is very intimate and vital to me. But I have got it very nearly ready. Would you like to see it? I will send it to you if you would. How is Joanna? My heart aches a bit for her. It is so wintry for her to come forth. Have patience and courage. Write for America if you can't write. I find I am unable to write for England any more. The response has gone quite dead and dumb. A certain hope rises in my heart, quite hot, and I can go on. But it is not England. It seems to me that it is America. If I am kept here, I am beaten forever. How are you yourself and Don? The weeks go by very bitterly, don't you find? They are hardly bearable. The weather is cold down here also, but sometimes very sunny as today. We live on tenterhooks, hoping for departure. You too will move away when your time comes. Do you see Esther Andrews? And how is she? We want her to go with us to America and to the ultimate place we called Taipei or Rananim. There is indeed such an ultimate place. Don't treat me as I have treated you and make me wait a long time for an answer. Write soon. D. H. Lawrence. Letter 49 to Lady Cynthia Asquith. Zena, St. Ives, Cornwall, 12th February 1917. They have refused to endorse my passport. It is a bitter blow because I must go to America, but I will try again in a little time. How are you and what are you doing? For me, the skies have fallen here in England, and there is an end. I must go to America as soon as I can, because to remain here now, after the end, is like remaining on one's deathbed. It is necessary to begin a new life. You mustn't think that I haven't cared about England. I have cared deeply and bitterly, but something is broken. There is not any England. One must look now for another world. This is only a tomb. I must wait and try again in a little time. I don't want to bother you with woes or troubles. Only I feel there is some sort of connection between our fates, yours and your children's and your husband's, and Frida's and mine. I know that sometime or other I shall pull through, and then, when I can help you or your husband or the children, that will be well. Because, don't hide away the knowledge, real life is finished here. It is over. The skies have already fallen. There are no heavens above us, no hope. It needs a beginning elsewhere. That will be more true, perhaps, of Herbert Asquith and of John the son than of you. But it is a bit of knowledge not to be evaded, even while one struggles through with the present. I feel the war won't be so much longer. The skies have really fallen. There is no need of any more pulling at the pillars. New earth, new heaven. That is what one must find. I don't think America is a new world, but there is a living sky above. America, I know, is shocking, but there is a new sky above it. I must go to America as soon as ever I can. Do you think I don't know what it is to be an Englishman? There is no news here. We seem as in a lost world. My health is fair. It is the old collapsing misery that kills one. Frida sends her love. D. H. Lawrence. Letter 50 to Lady Cynthia Asquith, Hermitage, Berks, Thursday, April 1917. My dear Lady Cynthia, I didn't ring you up because on Sunday suddenly I collapsed with sickness and was quite seedy. Then, just as suddenly on Tuesday, my soul inspired itself and I got well. So yesterday I came on here. Tomorrow I am going back to Cornwall, thank God. It was the evil influence of aggregate London that made me ill. Suddenly I start to be sick. It is all very vile. It is much best for you to go down to Stanway. The spring is here. The cuckoo is heard. Primroses and daffodils are out in the woods. It is very lovely. I feel that the buds, as they unfold and the primroses come out, are really stronger than all the armies and all the war. I feel as if the young grass growing would upset all the cannon on the face of the earth, and that man, with his evil stupidity, is after all nothing. The leaves just brush him aside. The principle of life is, after all, stronger than the principle of death, and I spit on your London and your government and your armies. Come and see us whenever you are near enough, and feel like it. The state of your desperation is really a thing to be ashamed of. It all comes of submitting and acquiescing in things one does not vitally believe in. If you learned flatly to reject things which are false to you, you wouldn't sell yourself to such deadness. One should stick by one's own soul and by nothing else. In one's soul, one knows the truth from the untruth and life from death. And if one betrays one's own soul knowledge, one is the worst of traitors. I am out of all patience with the submitting to the things that be, however foul they are, just because they happen to be. But there will be and fall a big fire on the city before long, as on Sodom and Gomorrah, and will burn as clean of a few politicians, etc., and of some of our own flunkying to mere current baseness. I feel angry with you, the way you have betrayed everything that is real, by admitting the superiority of that which is merely temporal and foul and external upon us. If all the aristocrats have sold the vital principle of life to the mere current of foul affairs, what good are the aristocrats? As for people, they will serve to make a real bust-up, quite purposeless and aimless. But when the bust-up is made and the place more or less destroyed, we can have a new start. It is a very lovely day. Hope you are well. D. H. Lawrence.